I put the link to it right in the comment.
Okay. There it is.
Hello, hello. I think we're live. I'm not sure. If you are here, I would love for you to say hello so we know you're here. I'm super, super excited for today's conversation. Before I connected with these beautiful coaches, I was tapping into the energy of what's going to happen today. And it's like this warm, beautiful, kind of yummy feeling. So I'm super, super excited. These coaches are so gifted. And the fact that we are all together, I see that Kelly might be having an issue. I'm like looking in the group and I'm not seeing Kelly, I'm not seeing your photo. So weird. Okay, I'm sure she'll be able to work that out. Hold on for 1 second. Kelly, for some reason, you are not showing up in the group. Okay, this is live and this is what kind of stuff happens. So,
am I not on the Zoom right now?
Yeah, if you go into the Facebook group, you'll see that you're not being seen right now. Okay. So Kelly, maybe get out and come back in, love.
Yeah.
Okay. Kelly's gonna work that out. That's the weirdest thing. I never had anything like that happen because I'm looking at her, so I know she's here. Okay. So, I'm so excited for these conversations, and I just want to say hello to everybody that is here. Good morning, Linda, Kara, Tina. Hello, hello. I'm super excited that you're here. Hello, Sue Lee. Okay, so if you guys want your friends and family to join the conversation as well, I invite you to go ahead and share this live to your page. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I see Kelly now. We are ready to rock and roll. Hello, aloha, Kelly. So Kelly is joining us from Hawaii. And okay, so, okay. Now that we can see everybody, I'm super excited to have this conversation with all of you. So if you're not sure what this is about, first of all, let me just say I am Susan Bradley Portfield, and I provide these amazing platforms for coaches and healers and light workers to shine their light, share their wisdom, and that's kind of my thing, right? I love it. It lights me up. And while I help them find these platforms to share their wisdom, we also serve the world in a very real way. So that's what this is all about. Now, we are not going to, we don't want to discount the suffering that's happening. And I feel obligated to say that every time we go live, right? Because we know you guys are having a hard time. You guys are in waters that you have never thought that you would be in, right? Your world has been turned upside down and there are people suffering. There's people out of work. There's people in the hospital that can't even see their loved ones right now. We don't want to discount any of the suffering that's happening. But what we want to do through these lives is look for the evidence, right? Because it's like the universe shook us upside down, right? The universe said, well, there's a lot of stuff that's not working. So we're just gonna take the earth, we're gonna shake it up, turn it upside down, put everyone on pause and allow everyone to take a look at what they love about what's happening, what they don't love what's happening, where they are at, where their families are at, and perhaps create something new. So that's the conversation. So I don't know what's happening with Kelly, but Kelly, just so you know, we can see you, love. So you are live. So I want to introduce my amazing guests, and I want to start with Ingrid. Ingrid and I have worked together for several years, like maybe 3 years, and she is such a beautiful being, and she takes all of her gifts, right? Her gift as an artist, her gift as a coach, her gift as a creative, her gift as a spiritual being on this planet, and she wraps it all up in such a beautiful way to serve the world. So hello, Ingrid. I'm so happy you're here.
Hi, Susan. Yeah, me too. Always glad to play together with you and also with Angie. It's always a pleasure to be with you, especially from Europe, connecting with the US. It's making it totally complete. So thank you for inviting me, Susan.
You're welcome. So you are in Belgium, you are across the way. So it's so interesting, right, that we are in it together. You're experiencing things that we're experiencing too. And isn't that beautiful that the universe connected the whole world in this way? I know people are probably going, what are you talking about? This sucks, right? But seriously, for the fact that the whole world is going through the same type of struggles, wouldn't you say that's a miracle?
Yeah, can I say I love it?
Yes.
I just want to say I love this situation.
Why?
I love this situation. I don't have the virus on my vision board, but I have love on my vision board. I have connection with people on my vision board. I have peace on my vision board. I have taken time with people that you love on my vision board. And I believe that the lockdown where we are now going out of it in Europe. I don't know in the US what's happening there, but here in Belgium, we are stepping out of the lockdown. And it's amazing what a creative time it has been in those 10 weeks that we had. And I have not been able to coach in a normal way, like saying before lockdown, but I have used my creativity to bring my gifts into the world in a different way, through coaching online, through doing webinars, free webinars for people to help them. So it's amazing.
Beautiful. So I would love to know, where is everybody from? If everyone watching, if you could put where you're watching from, I would love that. Let's connect. I really want to know that. Now, Angie, you're in the US, but you're across the way from me. You're on the other side of the US. So what, you are such a gift. You do the Akashic records and you use hand analysis and you combine all your gifts as well. I think that's the beautiful thing about all my guests today, is that, you know, they're multi-talented. They're very multi-talented. They're multi-gifted, and they use all of their gifts. One thing that I noticed, that some leaders, they focus on one aspect, one of their gifts, right? But these beautiful coaches, they use everything that they are, all their experiences, all their gifts, all their wisdom to help their clients on the highest level. And I thought it was so unique that Angie does handwriting analysis, right?
Just the hand. No, not the writing.
I'm sorry, not the handwriting.
That's okay. It's a common mistake.
Hand analysis, and she also uses her intuitive gifts to help people uncover and rediscover their Akashic records. So Angie, do you want to just share a little bit about you and what you do?
I would love to. Thank you. I'm really excited that we're doing this today. This is really fun. So I live in Colorado. Like you said, I'm a little bit of ways away from you on the East Coast there. And Colorado's opening up a little bit this week, which has been really nice. Kind of like Ingrid was saying, we're kind of having like a reopening, and I got to get my hair done yesterday, which was like so exciting. I know. It's like, wow, it's a whole new world. Right? It's literally a new world. So so about me and what I do, I love to help people really connect with their life purpose and their mission on this planet. And sometimes that gets all covered up with, you know, what should I be doing? What does society want me to do? And then all of the, habit loops that we find ourselves in that sort of keep us blocked from doing what's really important, what our soul really came to do. So I help people sort of dig out of that so that they can really get on that highest potential path for them through hand analysis and through Akashic records. Both.
Well, your
And
hair,
both were great for it.
your hair looks gorgeous. No, I had to
Thank
take,
you.
I'm still at the, cut my own bangs today. I'm so excited.
It's hard.
Right? We're still locked down where we can't get our hair done yet. But that's something that I'm going to appreciate a whole lot more when I'm getting pampered. So I want to welcome Kelly Weaver, and Kelly lives in Hawaii, and she manifested that. She is like a power manifester. And so I love to play with her because magic just happens. So I'm so glad that you were able to work out whatever.
I don't know what happened. It said your computer has shut down for a problem. Okay.
So, okay, well, let's just clear that, right? No more of that. Before I get in touch with you, I just want to say, like, Tina is from Canada and Suli is here from England, and I know Suli is not too. She's loving the lockdown as well, and I think Kara is from Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kara.
She's from, I think, Scotland.
Oh yes, Scotland. Okay, I'm so sorry. So yes, so the comments have passed so fast, I can't keep up. So I apologize for that. But so I'm so happy you're here, Kelly. And one of the things that has been important that keeps coming up for me, even though my children are grown, is the school system. And you are actually an activities director and get to play with kids all the time. And so I was telling you before we went live that I would love to do a panel with kids, right? Because they will tell you how it is. They will tell you how it is, and they actually have so much wisdom and knowledge to share, right? Because they see the world in such a pure way, right? That if we just connected with our kids and asked them what they thought about all of this, I'm wondering what they would say, right? And what do they love about it, and what don't they love about it? So I'm excited that that will be coming. Kelly, do you just want to share, like, you're a master manifester, and so do you want to just share, like, what energy do you play in? What kind of energy do you drink for breakfast? Because yeah.
The secret is gratitude. I've been doing a consistent gratitude practice for the past 3 years, where it's a private Facebook group. And I'll tell you what, it really, truly is life-changing, because this is a tough time for many people, as we talked about before we came on here, but I'm still insistent that there is something to be grateful for. And if you can get your vibration out of that and into gratitude and appreciate what you do have when you go to the hairdresser, right? You appreciate it way more because you realize, wow, I kind of didn't realize I took for granted for those things. So that is what I think is the secret sauce, honestly.
Yeah, I love that so much. So that's what this is all about, right? Because the world is upside down. The world, you know, we're all in uncharted waters, right? And like as things start opening up, I really want to have the conversation of, hey, do you really want to go back to the way it was? Or what do you want to create instead, right? Because we're in such this amazing space where the rule book literally got thrown out, right? The government isn't acting the same way. They're not showing, they're having to really show up and lead. The schools, kids are being taught remotely or being homeschooled, right? There's so much different, there's so many different things going on, right? There's so much caring and love and people reaching out to their neighbors and people connecting in new and different ways. It's almost like if we didn't have this shakedown, if we didn't have this time of the pandemic and the lockdown, it would have taken us thousands of years to make even the smallest shift in some of the structures, right? And some of the institutions that we all have. But now, because the rules are thrown out, we have an opportunity to introduce some new ways of showing up in the world. So that's the conversation. Who's psyched about that?
Yes.
Very.
Yes.
Yeah, so Suli is like global community. And I'm sorry, Kara, yes, you are from Scotland. Thank you for clearing that up. I so appreciate that. And so I would love our audience to answer, like, what is something that you see evidence that it can shift, and how would you like that to look moving forward? So that's the conversation. So let me start with Angie. Angie, what's something that you're seeing in the lockdown, right? Because with every struggle, with every challenge, there's always a gift, right? No matter how dark the days are, there's always gifts to be revealed. So what's something that you're seeing that kind of had to show up in a different way? And what would you like to see happen?
Well, this is an interesting thing that I never ever talk about really publicly that I'm actually very passionate about. I feel like there are so many problems. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the US with our healthcare system, I think that is a huge spotlight is being shined on our healthcare system right now. There's so many broken parts. I don't even know where to begin to pinpoint what to talk about. But I feel like with what you're saying, like everything's burning down and we can build something completely different. And I've always felt that it's really difficult to have something as important as people's health be in the hands of a for-profit system. It just doesn't, to me, go together. And I'm not saying I have the solution. I'm just saying I feel like that has always been something that I've cared deeply about. And it's not really a platform that I go around and talk about. Probably no one knows that I actually research that a lot and I think about that a lot. And I wish that more solutions, were being brought to the table, which I know that they will be, because at some point there would just be a complete and total collapse of what's going on because it can't sustain itself, especially in an environment where so many people need access to really good healthcare, right?
Yes, and some countries have free healthcare, right? So I love that the healthcare system has gotten shaken up, right? Because now you have those online doctor visits if it's something minor. And I think this could drive down the costs of healthcare. But I agree with you. It's like I really feel that as a society, I would love to see that we take that that our system takes better care and puts more emphasis on health and not on sickness, right? Because is it really a healthcare system, right? Is it really a healthcare system or is it a sick system, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
right? Does anybody else want, how are you guys feeling about that? And I would love to hear from anybody if they get free healthcare from from their country. Like, what's up with that? So let's have this conversation because it's really a good one to have. So Kelly, how do you feel about, do you think that, what do you think that the government or we as a society can put, what kind of energy can we put behind shifting the way that we think about health care? And
Well, can I share something else?
yeah,
Okay, so early on when this started, the pandemic started, I meditate regularly. And so I went into meditation to ask, like, what is this? And it was a powerful vision that I got. So what happened was I was actually zoomed out into space and I could see Earth, but Earth was completely black. And the only reason that I knew it was Earth was because I saw this black kind of ring around it. And so I could see that the earth was really dark and we were in a dark time. And then I was zoomed back into Oahu, where I currently live, and I lit up in this bright white light. And then all of a sudden, people next to me started lighting up, and it looked like flashlights were going on. And then all of a sudden, it went from Hawaii to California, all across the East Coast, all around the world. And these lights were lighting up. And then I got zoomed out again, and now the world is in this beautiful white energy pulsing at this heartbeat. And I really interpreted that as this is the awakening. This is a chance for us to create a new world. The structures that we thought were in place have to come down. It's just not working anymore. And besides the earth needing to heal, I really feel that it's us needing to heal. And I think that deals with the healthcare system in the sense that people are now really forced to look at themselves in this. It's probably bringing up a lot of wounds for people. I know in my clients, it really is when you have to sit with yourself for long periods of time. But I think it's necessary. It's again, I think it ties back into the image of my meditation of you've got to bring that dark stuff to light to heal. The earth needs to heal. We as the people on the earth need to heal. And that's what I believe. And you know, the other thing about children, I asked in the meditation, why is it not affecting our children? And I was told because the children are already awake. They are not stuck in these outdated patterns and belief systems. They are the next light workers. And so that to me is why kids have, if we could, you know, get into their energy and get into what they're the next leaders. The world is going to change.
exactly. So I'm glad you brought that up because the children are the ones that will lead us when we're in old age, right? So so that's really key. But there's no sicknesses, no real sicknesses. Yeah, there is the flu, etc. But when we are healthy, when we are in alignment, right, and we are healthy and we are living from that space of good health, then there's no disease, right? There's no dis-ease because it's all created, like mental health, physical health, spiritual health. That's if our healthcare system focused on those three things, right? Wouldn't that naturally drive down the cost of healthcare? And we wouldn't need to pay half our paychecks to pay for in case we get
Right.
sick, right? So how is it with you, Ingrid? How is it in your country? How's the healthcare in your country? And before you answer, I just want to say, like Linda Dillman, she's saying healthcare in Canada, people think it's free, but it actually isn't. Our taxes are so high and we have to still buy personal insurance. Yes, right? But if we flip the health, because right now the healthcare has to pay attention to every single person, regardless of your status, regardless of your income, regardless of your color, right? All those barriers have been broken down. But if we focus on mental, physical, and spiritual health, our hospitals will probably be empty, right?
Yeah, of course. And I want to join Kelly with the lighters on the earth, and we are the light workers, and all the lights are getting lit up. Is that how you say it?
Lit
So,
up.
and from my inner communication, my inner voice, you know, the connection that I bring to my clients is that you're right. Most of the people were before lockdown connected with the head, no connection with the body. Yeah, they are in the body, but they are not really connected with the body. And what Kelly beautiful said was that she really could see a black earth before, because everybody was disconnected, so the energy couldn't flow from the universe through our body to Mother Earth and back. So when we make that connection again, I'm so sure that more people will be in a good health. And I am so happy that I can help now in the last 10 weeks, that I could have helped so many women to connect again their energy with their body, with their hearts, and to ground them. A lot of people are not grounded. How can energy that gets stuck in the body can leave the body? It's when we have those possibilities to ground more the people and to explain them how we in fact live with that, with the essence, with spirituality, with the connection with the heart, in connection with the body, with Mother Earth and heaven. When we bring everything in alignment, there are no problems. But you know, go out and tell the pharmaceutical companies about it. We are crazy, but I think we are not. We are the light workers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the crazy people that make change. So I love and accept that about myself, right? Because these are the conversations that matter. Like, we don't have to go back to the way it was. We don't have to accept those institutions the way they were, right? But this is a time of great transformation, not just for people waking up, not just for people for the first time giving them the slowing down, right? We run on autopilot, but this is a great time of awakening for all those parts of our society that don't work, that are sick, that do that are broken. So now is the time to reimagine what we want, right? So what is the solutions? What are the solutions? To me, with the healthcare system, it's such an obvious solution. It's like, you know, include in the healthcare package, mind, body, spirit, wellness. When you do that, right? Because if we want to get a massage or we want to get acupuncture, the prices are skyrocketing, right? But if we get sick, then we can we paid half our paycheck to insurance, and then we can go and get pills, right? So that system is so broken. And if they only included all that wellness, the gym membership, the good eating, all of it, the weight loss programs, all of it, hypnotherapy, etc., to support us in our quest to be well, mind, body, spirit, right? Pay for coaches. Hello. If you want real transformation, hire a coach. And if our healthcare system saw that they're going to save so much money in the long run by allowing people to have a coach for healthcare or stress, right? Yeah, so that's a huge institution. So what are you guys thinking? And Kara, yes, grounding is so important. And Tina is saying in Alberta, they have free healthcare, right? In the United States, man, I'm telling you, like when I worked at the insurance agency, I was a manager, so I got my healthcare for free. But for those employees that didn't, they were paying $500, $600 a month for their healthcare, right? So some of them were working a week and a half for free. And in the United States, you have no choice. You have to have healthcare. If you don't, you can go to the hospital, they can deny you. So what's up with that? I'm just thinking we need to spend more time on that. So where are you guys at? I'm not seeing us.
What I would like to say, Susan, if I can speak, is that in the beginning of the lockdown, I was really focused on what was happening outside. And after 1 week, I really could feel that I don't want to focus on that because I didn't create that. And I said to myself, how can I help those people outside? And I created my own mini retreat or mini hospital or mini space where people can come and feel that space of feeling the silence again and connect with themselves and know that there are people outside that really want to help them, who really want to inspire them in a different way, to let them look in a different way. And we can point at the health system that does not work well, that we have to pay too much and all these things. And we can look at that. But we can create with all those coaches, with all those people, all those light workers, we can create a different world if we come together. And we don't have to fight against all those pharmaceutical companies or whatever. We just have to use our gifts all together and then move forward. And those who want to come with us, they come with us. And those who want to stay stick and go to the healthcare system, let them go. But I'm sure that if we can connect all those people in a way like, we are not sick. If we can teach them how to do that, they don't need to go to the health system, and it will go where it has to go. But I don't want to focus on that. I don't know what the others feel about that, but I think that we have to connect more and more and more all together.
Yes, and I love that. And it is really about alignment, right? It is about alignment. All creation starts with a thought. It starts with an emotion. It starts with connecting within. I love that all of the coaches here, that yes, we give tips and tools, right, to help our clients. But the real gift is connecting to your own inner truth, to connect to your own inner wisdom. That's where your whole world can change. That's where, you know, I'm just going to touch one more time about it, is that I did get really sick. I was in a lot of pain. I became bedridden, and it wasn't the doctors that healed me. It was the doctors that were, oops, I apologize. I have to, something's wrong with my plug. Hold on. Okay, it should be okay. Okay, so it does happen within, and it does, everything is energy, right? All of it, everything that we have created thus far, we created all of it. So if we focus on the solution, right? If we tap into that wisdom within and we ask for the solutions every single day, they will come, right? Asking it is given is a very real thing. I think we can all agree with that. What can, to wake up into a world that really serves us in a much better way, in a healthier way, what can people do right now for themselves to move in that direction? Who wants to take that? Kelly?
I'll say something. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that by starting to do what Ingrid's saying, turn off the news, go within. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that anyone can do, and ask, what is it that you really want to see? What is it that you really want? Starting with the micro to the macro, right? What do we want for our very own life? And then allowing that vision to expand. I mean, there's people out there that are, they just naturally go to a very global vision, right? But that all starts within too. So starting with yourself and cleaning up areas of your own life that you need to look at, and then having that bigger and holding that bigger global vision. I think that's probably, just like you said with manifestation, Susan, that's where it starts. We have to think about what it is we want to create, and it's already there, right? Everything's created twice, so we create that, and then we create it in the world that we see around us and in our own lives to begin with, of course.
So that's an excellent thing. And I really think that when you think about it, right, when you think about what's going on in the world, I want you to, like, we created this pandemic, right? We created this pandemic. We asked for this. We didn't say, oh, universe, create a pandemic, right? But we as a society have been saying we want change, right? Some things are broken, some things we absolutely love, but we want change. And so by putting that energy of we want change out there, this is the solution that the universe came up for us, right? By having this I mean, it's global. There's not one person on this earth that is not affected by what is happening right now. And that's a miracle, right? That's a miracle that we are truly in this together. And this pandemic is connecting us even deeper around the globe, right? Our connections are becoming stronger because we truly are in it together. And so we have the opportunity. I mean, I think it's a miracle that all these distractions just got stripped away. Everything, all of it just stripped away and said, okay, you thought all those things were important, but connect now to what really is important, and really think about where you are and where you want to go. And I mean, I know I'm meant to have these conversations, right? This is where my guidance brought me. I didn't know where it was going to lead, but it led me here. And I know without a doubt that I'm meant to have these conversations, because they are important conversations to have, to bring awareness that the rules are gone and we can create our own rules. So think about, I think one of the best things every single person can do for themselves is spend time in silence, right? Spend time just connecting, because we are spirit, we are whole, perfect, and complete in truth. We are expressing in human form. So when you are in silence and you can connect to that larger part of you, that larger part of you that knows the answers, that larger part of you that is loving every single minute of every single day, no matter how confusing and how messed up it may seem. But that part of you that knows the truth and has the answer, when you can spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes, spend 20 minutes a day in that silence and just ask yourself for the answers, and they will come. Yeah.
I agree, Susan, that what I have seen the last weeks with clients who came and people who came into my Facebook groups, you know, there were a lot of people who started to wake up, and they don't know how to go into the silence. They are scared of silence. They don't know how to listen because they don't know who they are.
Mhm.
They only know who they are in their heads, what titles they have, and how they have to function outside, but they don't know who they are. And I was like, I was not surprised, but I was surprised to see that I was thinking that people knew that, you know, when they start, because when I started, I was searching for, but a lot of people don't know. And I have been thinking, like, maybe we have to make a small program for people, how to wake up and what's happening when you wake up, how to take those little first baby steps to move on and to awaken and to see what's happening. How can I see through all this mess what's happening? Where do I want to go to? What do I want? Because a lot of people don't know their goals. They don't know it. And if we bring all our gifts of those coaches here together, and other coaches in your panel discussions too, and we make a program for these people, I'm sure that we can help a lot of people and lighten up the world even more.
But do people know that they're asleep? Do people even know that they are asleep? Right? So how do you help people that don't know? Because I didn't know that I was asleep until I knew it. You know what I mean? Until I went into the silence and then it was revealed to me. So I think what I see globally and in the communities and in the people that that I'm with is that they all kind of know, right? Like they know there's more out there. They believe in a higher power. They are beginning to understand. Like I think probably 96% of all humanity believes in God, right? Believes in that there is a higher energy that's happening with them, with us. So, but people don't know they're asleep until they know it. So if we go out there and say, hey, we're gonna do a group, and if you're asleep, we can help you wake up. How do we reach people? how do we reach people that don't even know that they're asleep?
But those are people who are asleep. But I speak about the people who started to be awakened.
Yeah.
And what I experienced now the last 10 weeks is people are searching for safe places.
Yeah, they are.
They search for people that they can trust and with whom they can speak about their problems, about their fears, about all these things. And people, people who come now in my group, they stay because they feel that they are safe,
And isn't that the way? Because in the United States, I'm going to speak to the United States, most of us are fending for ourselves. Most of us are trying to solve our issues, our problems, or whatever it is that's going on by ourselves, right? We don't reach out to neighbors. And this got brought up last week. We don't reach out to neighbors. We don't say, hey, I need help, right? And so you're right. People need some, if we just said, you know what, we'll listen, right? We'll listen. If you want somebody to listen, because I think that's what people are seeking. What do you think about that? Angie, what's coming up for you?
I think that's great. I did want to say that I've had the same thing come up as with Ingrid, where people just have a lot of questions when that experience is first happening. And it seems like maybe for us, I can't speak for the rest of you, but for me, it was kind of a slow progression, like all the way from the time I was 25 until, really accelerating about 5 years ago. So that was a slow awakening, right? This is like really fast, rapid. People are waking up really, really fast. And they're going through the stages possibly that the three of us, like, I'm not sure what yours was like, went through over a long period of time. They're doing it really fast. And then I think the thing that is hard and why they're looking for these groups is there's so much information out there that you can go down all these rabbit holes and you can get really lost, right? Unless you find a person or a light worker that is really resonating with you. Otherwise, it's a really zigzaggy path for them, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So I do feel like that would be really beneficial, something where and that's, I think the intent somewhat of your group is to, help people have that guiding light within this completely shifting sands of time that are happening right now. So I agree. It's very needed. And I hadn't thought about it that way. I did notice it, but I just was kind of doing my thing that I usually do. And so I was just offering whatever assistance I could. And I wasn't thinking about how that's a little bit different than what we experience. Because if you imagine it like ripping off a Band-Aid, they're probably going through a really intense dark night of the soul. Mm-hmm. Compared to going through that awakening process through the normal process and slow stages, right?
Yeah, it's so you're right, like the universe, like I wasn't listening, right? I wasn't listening. I was one of those, I was so busy. I had a career, I was a workaholic, I was constantly going. And then and I knew I was receiving messages from the universe because I was in severe pain, and I knew the universe was saying, hey, you need to take time out, but I wouldn't listen, right? So I got knocked in my butt, and I feel like this pandemic has knocked us on our butt, right? So, and then because I got knocked in my butt and I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything, that's when I was in the silence. It all comes down to the silence, right? Going within and listening. And so that's how my awakening occurred. It was when I got knocked in my butt. And if anybody watching this, when you connect in, you'll be guided. Like, you don't have to ask any questions. All you have to do is connect in, just be quiet, follow your breath with the intention of receiving answers, right? And the answers will come. Like, I just started following like these kind of, oh, I'm gonna listen to this radio show, right? They're talking about alternative healing, right? Just kind of something I've never done before. And Angie, I believe that you're right. Like, people are seeking. Ingrid, people are seeking. Like, all of a sudden they're like, okay, I was doing this and this and this forever and ever and ever, and it made me really happy. But all of a sudden, I don't want to do that anymore. All of a sudden, right? Oh, that was me. Like, I thought that I would retire at the insurance agency. They spoiled me rotten. I had a good thing going. You know what I mean? I was making money and I was successful. And then I didn't want to do it anymore. And so, do you think that's where people are at in the beginning of what they're seeking? Because more people right now are looking for answers.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about it. And as you were talking, I was remembering some of the people that have been coming to me. Their sort of first phase of awakening is something really weird is going on here. That's what they'll say. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it, but I'm looking at the world and something is up, is kind of what, and they're getting that feeling, that inner knowing, right? But they're looking at the world saying, everything's not responding like it should. What's going on, right? And so they think of us because we've always been coming to that from that place, right? And they think of us and they think to message us, to ask us if we have information about what's really going on, right? So that's another way. I just wanted to share that that's another way. And maybe that resonates for someone watching or something. I don't know, but that's another way it's been happening, I feel like.
Yeah, for me, I definitely, that's how I felt. It was like, okay, I mean, I haven't brought up this story in a long time, but when I was working and I was in so much pain, I was like crying, like when I got home, I'd call my boyfriend, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be home in a minute. He'd meet me out in the car and pull me out of the car up the stairs and into the house because I was in so much pain, but I still went to work, right? I was crazy. I had this sick thing going on. I don't know what it was, but I knew that something was up, and the universe, to get me to get out, they gave me like 5 computers broke. Like, my computer, I went in and when I acknowledged that something was going on, my computer wouldn't work. So I had the IT guy fix my computer, and the next day it wouldn't work. And then he swapped out my computer. It wouldn't work. He swapped out another computer. It wouldn't work. 5 computers. And then I went to a psychic and I'm like, okay, mom and my sister are on the other side. I'm like, all right, stop messing around with my computers, right? So the next day my printer wouldn't work. I'm like, all right. All right, I give in, right? So then I called out and I went to the doctors and they wrote me out for a year. I'm like, I just need a couple of weeks off. Like, you're not going back anytime soon. I allowed myself, because the universe is guiding you, right? Every single person listening right now, the universe is guiding you. It's just, are you going to listen? Are you going to listen to what's going on? So if you're watching and things are going bonkers and things are breaking down and your computer's not working and all sorts of weird things are happening, it's just the universe trying to get your attention. Would you agree?
I think the pandemic is an accelerant. So I think I don't know all of your stories, but I think all of us have had our dark night of the soul and our awakening. Mine took a long time. Mine took a dislocated and broken ankle to wake me up and sit my butt down and say, no more. you know, you're running from all of this, you need to deal with it. But I think what's happening now is the world needs the light workers. And so this pandemic is the accelerant to make people kind of rouse a lot faster than we did. You know, I think we needed the lessons that we had, and we needed those experiences to make us the coaches that we are. But now the people are needed. And so the universe is like, okay, here we go. We're going to shake this up and you're going to come out. And as you were all talking, I was getting a very clear image that when I think you asked Susan, like, what do you do about those people that are still asleep? What I'm seeing is the image of, you know, like in a candle ceremony, when one person has his light and shares it with another. That's how we're awakening these people. It starts maybe slowly, but the pandemic is accelerating it to share our lights so that we can all help each other light up. So that's what I'm seeing. That's why I think it's much faster.
Yeah, I think visibility is so important, right? To just go out there into the world and just have these conversations and talk about these things and talk about our stories. Like, because seriously, like, you got knocked on your butt, Kelly. I got knocked on my butt, so that we were forced to listen to the whispers of our soul, right? And so the universe just did that on a larger scale. Okay, we're just gonna knock everybody on their butt, right? And so that's where everybody is. How do we, and I would love to hear from our audience, like, what would be a way that we could all come together and reach those that are all of a sudden like, okay, I know there's something going on. I know there's another direction I'm supposed to go in, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do, right? Because for me, it was very uncomfortable. Like, I knew something was off, but I didn't know what it was. So I just wanted to push it away. I just wanted to push it away and go about my merry, you know, just keep doing what I was doing. And, but we know that if you don't listen, it's not going to get better, right? If you don't listen, it's not going to get easier. If you don't listen, it's not going to make a difference. Is that true?
Yeah. I feel like so many people go to the edge of the high dive and they stand there and they turn around and they go do something else and they go back and they just find themselves back at the edge of the high dive until they finally just say, all right, what does it mean if I'm going to jump off into the water? Because they just get so sick of coming back to that same spot. And that's our soul waking us up, right? That's our higher self bringing us back to that same place over and over again.
Yeah, so Kara's saying, I don't know if we need to simply let them be guided by the universe, because it will find its way. Yes, the universe will have its way with you, right? But your awakening can be painful and slow, or it can be faster, right? And like you said, Kelly, things are accelerated, right? So it's almost like the train is like pulling out of the station, and you can either jump on board or be left behind. So one of the things that Abraham Hicks said in one of her videos was, you know, through this process of what we're all going through, so many people are going to be much more deeply connected when this is over. So they're going to be connected in, tapped in, tuned in, and be able to receive the answers and the knowledge and the wisdom that they're seeking on such much easier. And moving forward, that's how she said most people will live, from that space of knowing. So any thoughts on that?
Well, I want to say, I mean, sorry, I keep sharing, but that's the fifth dimension, right? That's living from the heart. That's living from that intuition inside of you. So that's a perfect way of describing that. Just another way. I mean, we've heard a million descriptions, right? But imagine if every person on the planet lived from that place. We don't even probably need to worry about even thinking about how we would transform these things, because if everyone lived from that place, there would just be no question that these things would just be a given that we want to see on the globe, right? So I love that you shared that. That's perfect.
Right? And I think this is really where the conversation goes. It's like we have all the answers, we have all the wisdom, we have all the knowledge within us. We only need to connect to it, right? We only need to align with it. And so, I think that's really our message here, like, because we all awakened, we're all very connected on this panel. So it's hard to be where we are, even though we understand where other people are. It's like, how do you explain to them the power that lies within? How do you even begin to explain the power that lies within us all? Right? Do you want to take that, Kelly?
Well, I was going to say, in my business, right, not everyone is your ideal client. So as Ingrid was saying, you come and you manifest them and they come to you. They're in your groups, they're your clients, they're in your tribe. And so not everyone is going to be awakened. Not everyone is going to be there yet. But what we can do is the people that are, and the people that are coming and seeking the answers and are at the edge of the high dive, is we can then take them. And then I think I see them as being like that candle image that I got, right? But we do that, whoever comes to us, and that's who we work with. You're not going to change everyone.
I want to just ask you, what about the children that you work with? Do you think that they are awake already, or do you think that they are not? Because they are going to be the leaders of the world someday. So where do you think, from working with children, where do you think they are?
I think they are. I think a lot of them are. I think, unfortunately, some of them have beliefs that they have ingrained from their families, whether that be religion or politics. However, what I've always found with kids, and this is why I like working with kids, is when I work with a client, right, the first step is always clarity. What is it that you want to manifest? And you know what I find with adults? They have no idea. They really truly don't. They can tell you everything they don't want, but they don't know what they do want. But when you talk to children, they truly know what they want. However, the kids that I work with, it's always, well, I can't do that because, or my parents won't let me do that because. And so it's kind of helping them get back into when they were very small and they could be an astronaut and a doctor and a cowboy all at the same time. But they're much more open. But it's funny, I have two daughters myself. One is very closed off to all of this. She thinks that everything I do is witchcraft, and she's very very closed off right now. My other one, my younger one, is very awake. Sometimes she won't say it, right? So what can I do as the parent, as the teacher, as the model? I have to model it. And so in my office with my student activities kids, when they want to do something, we do it. And I teach them indirectly the steps of manifesting. I've helped many kids get into colleges, and I'm not patting myself on the back for that, but I'm the model and I'm the teacher. And they see that. So we as coaches have to model and teach that. The kids are awake and they're aware. They may not always express it the way that we want. Like my oldest, I think sometimes my oldest, although she blabs, I don't believe in any of that, I think there's a deep down that she's watching me. So I'm very careful with what I want to show her.
Well, isn't that beautiful? Like, I realized it's not our job to convince anybody,
Right.
right? It's not our job to make anybody listen to us, but it is our job. We came here to express these things out into the world and to just allow, to put that energy out, to put that wisdom out, to put that knowledge out. And then those that are seeking will find us. We are to be the lighthouses, right? We are to be the lighthouses without, I remember my boyfriend didn't believe any of this. He thought I was blasphemous when I told him that I was receiving messages from my guides. He thought I was going against God and all of this stuff. And at first I was trying to make him believe me, right? You have to believe, if you love me, you have to believe me, right? But then when I released the need for him to believe me, the universe has its way. It just, all these magical things started happening when he was with me, where he could no longer ignore the fact that something was happening. And so, you know, like we go into a wildlife refuge and the man comes around with a book on awakening and says, this is what my daughter bought me. She bought me a book on awakening. And I told him, yes, I'm awake. I had my awakening. Oh, I know, I could feel it. And people coming up to me and saying, I had a week. She says, I don't know why, but I know you can help me. My daughter's in the hospital and she's dying. You know what I mean? So he just started witnessing all these things, people coming up to me on the street and just weird things. And in the end, he gave me this necklace with a letter saying how he knew I was an earthbound guide, an earthbound angel. And so when I no longer had to convince him, or no longer, it was none of my business whether he believed me or not, or believed in what I was teaching or not. I was just gonna do me. I was just gonna still be who I am, regardless of what other people think. And then if, they'll see for themselves, they'll make their own decision, right? So Ingrid, I just love your thoughts on what has been happening. You've been a little quiet, so I would love to hear your thoughts about what's been happening.
What's been happening about what, Susan?
Just what we're talking about, like, just the fact of I'm being guided to just let you speak what you want to speak about, and I have no question. They're not giving me a question.
Okay, yeah, you were what I got through when you were speaking was maybe that's what you want me to say, is that once we are awake and once we have that connection with the universe, when we are in alignment, we don't have to follow anybody, or we just have to shine our light. But for me, the highest beauty, the highest skill, it's not a skill, but when we become the vehicle of the divine, that's what makes me happy. When you are in alignment and you experience everything through your body, through your emotions, through whatever you can experience, in combination with people around you. But then you have that voice, you have that guidance from the universe that tells you what you can do, how you can move on and light on the world. And that is what I have been experiencing the last 10 weeks now. It's amazing what has happened with me. because I got that voice that said, you have to get out. You have to get out. Don't close yourself up. Don't go into that lockdown. Shine your light, shine your light. And then I was saying, yeah, but how do I have to do it? And then I got the message like, go through the webinars. Doesn't matter. And I said, yeah, but I don't have the people. No, just show up. People will come to you. We will bring the people to you. And then I said, yeah, and even if it's one, it's one, you know, just be there for that one person. But more people showed up, and more people are coming into my, not into my direction. They want to know what's happening with me.
Yeah.
And not only with me, I share now. I get out and I say, listen, this is how I do it. It's simple. It's not difficult. And if you want, I just show you the tools. You don't have to pay anything. Just come in. I will tell you how to do it. And they came and they did the tools and the second tool and the third webinar. And they came back the week after and after. I have been given everything for free for the last 10 weeks. And last evening, I had a great conversation with 8 people of the group. 69 people are in the group, but 8 people came yesterday to speak and to listen and just to have an interaction together. And 3 of the 8 people said yesterday to me, you can't believe how grateful I am that you came into my life. And that I had the possibility to learn those tools from you. Because thanks to you now, I can move forwards. I can get into my job again that I know that I don't want to go into again. But now I see I have to go and I can change it in what I want. And I want you to learn me how to do that. And then I was saying yesterday evening, thank you. And above they were saying thank you to me. And everything comes together, you know, and this is what we have to do all together.
So Ingrid, I just want to point out, like, because I've been a part of your coaching journey from the beginning, and I remember in the beginning, and I'm just bringing this up because it was normal. It's like at first you were looking to me for some answers, and you're looking to other leaders for some answers. But it's when you started looking within yourself for the answers that all this magic happened, right? I want to just say that Leslie is saying very enlightening conversation, so much wisdom between the 4 of you, fabulous souls. Love that. Hello, Leslie. I'm so happy you're here. And she's saying, yes, being in full alignment with source is the biggest gift. You all shine. And isn't that true? And I'm so glad that you're saying what you're saying, because you just follow your guidance now. And that's the magic, right? And I think that's the magic for all of us. It's like, you know, I didn't think that I would like all of a sudden start doing panel discussions again during a pandemic, right? And, you know, but by going within, that's the guidance that I was given. And when we can just align, when we can connect and just line up with what our soul is bringing to us, that's when all is possible. That's when the magic happens. That's when all the magic happens. So what now? Like, no, I don't want to ask that. I want you each to like give some guidance. Like, if you could help somebody that is just all of a sudden starting to wake up, starting to be like, okay, there's something going on here. I'm not sure what it is. but they're still skeptical. What is something, what would you have them do first? What would be something that they could do right now in this moment that will help them for years to come? Angie, you want to take that?
Wow. Okay. So I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of that person. Something that they could do right now. Well, definitely what a lot of the conversation that we were talking about is to turn everything off externally, stop going down the rabbit holes and just go within, because like we said, all four of us, I think at one point, everything is there for your accessing, right? It's just you have to turn off everything that is trying to get your attention and just even put your hands on your heart. I would tell them, put your hands on your heart, because then your consciousness is going to go wherever your hands are. Close your eyes and just start breathing into your heart. Just so simple, right? Do it for 5 minutes, maybe build up to 6 minutes the next day, 7 minutes, no pressure. Just go really slow about it. And eventually they're going to, I mean, even after maybe 1 time or 2 times, they're going to start to feel that connection there, right? That connection to spirit. And then it just flows from there, right?
You feel the power right away. You feel, as soon as you put your hand on your heart and you start to breathe, you can feel the power right away. That's within you, right? Because it automatically connects you. And so for me, the one thing that I would say is be mindful of what you allow in your mind and in your space, right? It's the news is a fear-based business, okay? Their whole business is how can we get them scared or shocked or, you know, curious about the world's going to end so that they tune in, right? And also, like, following everything that's going on with the coronavirus is going to do its thing, whether you're paying attention to it or not, right? So what do you feed your mind when you first get up and start your day? Do you turn on the news and start feeding your mind immediately with everything negative and everything bad and everything that's scary, right? What are you feeding your mind right away? What if you fed your mind, you know, a nice meditation or a guided meditation or music or maybe journaling of what you're grateful for? What you feed your mind when you first start your day is the most important thing that you can do for your mental, physical, and spiritual health. Feed your mind those things that are good for it and release the news. If you are like, lady, I need to know what's going on, watch the news, but watch it early evening. Don't watch it first thing in the morning, because that's going to set up your whole day. What you feed your mind is going to set the tone for the entire day. So how do you want that day to be? How do you want, you know, if you start shifting and being very conscious of what you're feeding your mind, your life is going to change, like no doubt. That's my advice. What would be your advice, Kelly?
Oh, go ahead, Ingrid.
No, go, Kelly.
Well, very similar to what all of you said. You know, I have been intuitive all my life. I didn't know that I had that ability to tap in. And it was when I got quiet and when I had to sit with myself that it developed. So there's constantly messages. I write about this in my book, actually. There's constantly messages that the universe is sending you, like you had, Susan. It was like one computer after another. We get bombarded with those things all day until you really tune in and start listening. And I talk in the book about listening with your eyes, your ears, your mouth, all of it, not just your ears. you're going to get those little messages that are going to help you see of the path that you're on. And many of us ignore a lot of those. And again, I'm going to go back to my gratitude practice, because it costs nothing. You don't need to be an expert, but everybody has something, 3 things every day. Really reflect on things that you're grateful for. You know, I don't care how bad of a day you've had. Last year, my husband's best friend died of cancer. And I still did gratitudes that day, because there were still things that day to be grateful for. So I think that that's a very important place to start with someone who's maybe just kind of opening to this, because we all have something.
Yeah. And when we're in fear, and when we're focused on that in which we don't want, we're not going to be able to see the signs of the universe, right? You're not going, it's amazing, like how much the universe goes out of its way. You're not alone, that you have guidance, you have support for you. And when you all of a sudden are looking for the good in life, you're going to see it, right? So yeah, so I love that very much. Yes, so beautiful. So Ingrid, what would you say?
I would say same like Kelly. What I have been doing now with the group for 30 days. So we started on the 20th of April, and tomorrow is our last day. I went with them online at 6:30 in the morning to do a routine. So at 6:30 we came online. I had some music on, and then they started to put the goal for today. What do you want? What is your goal today? And it's not something that you have to do, but something, maybe be kind for yourself, or whatever. That can be the goal of today. And then they have to point out 10 things where they are grateful for. Same like Kelly. Very, very powerful. And then another point is, what do you appreciate that others do for you? It's a very good one too. Yeah. And where are you happy? What are you happy about today?
Beautiful.
So these were the points, and then we made the planning of the day. So you pointed out all the hours. You don't fill up everything, but because you give space to the magic that you have, playing space, you know. And then in the evening, so that was half an hour. And I also had the book of Paulo Coelho. I don't know if you know Paulo Coelho, the book of the light workers, where he has very small teachings about what a light worker is, what a warrior is of light. And that was, I was speaking about a light warrior every day, one short message, and that for 30 days. And in the beginning, those people were just awakening up, you know. They are light workers, but they don't know yet, you see. Yeah. And in the beginning, it was like, oh my God, Ingrid, it's not possible to point out 10 points of gratitude. What's wrong with me? And I said, there is nothing wrong with you. You have 3 points. That's great. And then the day after, they had 5. And then I said, you know, you have 5. Repeat those the next day, because it was something you were grateful for. And then at the end, when you see now what's happening now, it's amazing how they got into that routine and they got peace inside. Yeah. They get clarity. Yeah. And that is fantastic. And in the evening, they shared 3 successes they had in the day into the Facebook group. Yeah. So in the morning, they had to share their goal. And then in the evening, they had to share their successes. So it's all based on positivity all the time, focusing on positivity. Even if they think in the day negative, It doesn't matter. And in the morning I said, good morning, warriors. You know,
Yeah.
we have to waken them up. If we don't show how to do it, how do you want them to do it by themselves? So, and I love that. I love that. And tomorrow it's my last day. And I said, you know, next week we continue.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I love that. And at first it is hard to come up with, 10 things to be grateful for. But when you do practice, it's like all of a sudden you see everything that you're grateful for. It's like it reveals itself. It is like magic. So I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for every single one of you that joined today. Leslie, thank you. Thank you, Tina, Kara saying she needed support from a Reiki healer during her awakening, and she was so lucky to have her. Yes. So I know that everyone that comes to me, there's no accident, right? So I love all the tips that you guys are giving, and I would love to hear from our audience your thoughts or your routine that you do every single day to keep you from focusing on the negative. And this is how we move and awaken into a new world, because everything is energy. And because of that energy, this pandemic, this global shutdown that brought us all together as a global family, it brought us together. And so everything is energy. So when you just be mindful of what it is that you want, and you just tap into your own inner wisdom and guidance, and you put that good, positive, amazing energy into the world, when you share who you are in your own truth, all that energy will shape the world we live in. It will change, it will transform those things that no longer serve us into something new, something better, something different, but it all starts within. So I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you. And if you would like to connect to any of these amazing gifted coaches, all their contact information is on the speaker sheet. The guest sheet that's in this group, Awakening to a New World. If you are viewing this video from another space outside of the group, definitely come and join us where your voice will be heard, and join our Facebook group. Anyway, I love you all, and just one parting sentence from each of my guests would be great. What would you just want to leave our audience with? I'll start with you, Angie.
I would just say, oh gosh, I'm not ready. No, I'm just kidding. What would I say? My parting message would be to try to use this time as best as you can to really spend time going within and, learning about yourself, about this part of yourself that you probably have, turned off these messages for a long time. They're coming, but they're not getting through. So I think that would be my message.
Beautiful. And Ingrid, in like one or two sentences, what would be your parting words?
For me, it is when you look with the eyes of love, you meet God in everything you connect with.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Kelly, what would be your parting wisdom?
Before every breakthrough, there is a breakdown. So know that this will not last forever. And this energy that's being cleared is for the new dawn.
Yeah. As we are awakening to a new world, and you have the power to create that world any way you wish. So tap into that power and be good and kind to yourself. Look at yourself with compassion, not with judgment. Look at yourself with love, not, judgment. And yeah, and just be you. Don't be afraid to be who you are, because that's the beauty of you. Just do you and don't worry about anything else. All right, much love. Mwah. All right, I'm going to end the live stream. If I can find the video, hold on. Okay. It's always clunky when I'm trying to end the live stream. Hold on.